Hello everyone and welcome to Barca News. It's December 6, 2022, and Xavi's choice to replace Sergio Busquets is no longer available for Barcelona. Also, the club are currently interested in Gabriel Martinelli, and Barcelona are looking to cash in on Hector Bellerin in the winter transfer market. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. My name is Mo and I'm officially back in the country, so I will once again be making daily videos every day to bring you the most up-to-date news in regards to our beloved club, FC Barcelona. Now I'll begin with some World Cup news where today Morocco shocked the world and eliminated Spain in the round of 16 through penalty kicks, and with that, 8 Barcelona players are now heading home. Now that's unfortunate for Luis Enrique, who ever since was selected as to be Spain's coach. The Spain mainstream media, who are mostly allied with Real Madrid, have launched a war constantly criticizing the coach, and more so when he chose more Barcelona players than Real Madrid players to call up to the World Cup. And ever since, the Spanish media have been praying that Luis Enrique makes a mistake and fails just so they can say that they were right and continue criticizing Luis Enrique. So today it seems that the Spanish media have gotten their wish and Luis Enrique has been eliminated out of the World Cup. And it is very sad to see that a country's media would prefer see their own country lose just so they can criticize a specific coach. Now the silver lining out of all of this is that 8 Barcelona players will be heading home, and therefore they will be well rested for once La Liga resumes on December 31st, especially our midfield, which are Sergio Busquets, Gavi and Pedri, who did start in all of Spain's matches in the World Cup. Now after today's matches, the quarterfinals in the World Cup are now set, with 6 Barcelona players playing in all 4 quarterfinal matches, beginning with Rafinha's Brazil, who will face off against Croatia, followed by both Memphis Depay and Frenkie de Jong, who will be representing the Netherlands against Argentina, and with Abde, who's currently on loan with Osasuna, who will be representing Morocco against Portugal, and finally both Ousmane Dembélé and Jules Koundé, who will be representing France in their match against England. Now on to the news that Xavi and several members of the Barcelona squad returned to work yesterday after having several days off, and we saw Marcos Alonso, Sergi Roberto, Iñaki Peña and Hector Bellerin all train on the pitch yesterday at the Sporting Complex, and with both Ronald Araujo, whose Uruguay did not qualify to the round of 16, and Frank Kessie, whose Ivory Coast did not qualify to the World Cup, also both trained, but they trained separately because they're still recovering from injuries. Now the good news is that Sergio Roberto has fully recovered from that injury that he suffered in his shoulder, so he will be available for selection once La Liga resumes. Now more players will begin to join the rest of their team in their trainings, because as I reported previously, every player that gets eliminated from the World Cup will have a 1 week off, and then slowly they will start resuming training until La Liga resumes on December 31st. Now, Xavi had initially asked from Barcelona that he wanted some friendly matches before La Liga resumes so the players can return to form and can recapture some of that rhythm. And it was reported that Barcelona were trying to organize a friendly match with Arsenal. However, Xavi has changed his mind, has now decided that he doesn't want any friendly matches because he doesn't want to risk any of his players getting injured. And instead, Xavi is now planning a mini preseason where players are going to have special recovery sessions to recover from their injuries, from their fatigue from the World Cup in this very hectic calendar, and where the intensity of these sessions will increase slowly until all the players are not only fully recovered, but they're also back into rhythm and ready to resume the remainder of La Liga. Now, as I reported previously, Barcelona had announced that there will be a special documentary launching on Amazon Prime called FC Barcelona: A New Era. And this documentary will cover everything that happened since that infamous defeat at the hands of Bayern Munich 8-2 in Lisbon. And it will cover the change of board of directors from Josep Maria Bartomeu to Joan Laporta, to the departure of Messi and Luis Suarez, to the hiring and firing of Quique Setién and Ronald Koeman, and finally to the arrival of Xavi, Robert Lewandowski, and many of the new players. Well, we now know the new date for this documentary, and it will be December 28th. And as I mentioned in previous videos, I will be making special videos covering each episode of that documentary and highlighting all the important factors out of each episode for all of you who don't have Amazon Prime or who won't be able to watch the documentary. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel for that special episodes in regards to the FC Barcelona and new era. Now on to the news that Barcelona will be appealing the decision to uphold Robert Lewandowski's 3-match suspension. Now, as I reported previously, Robert Lewandowski received 2 yellow cards in the match against Osasuna, and as a result, he was expelled. And per the football rules, Robert Lewandowski should have missed 1 match. However, Robert Lewandowski made a gesture where he touched his nose, and as a result, La Liga interpreted this as being a disapproval of the referee's decision. So they handed down a 3-match ban for Robert Lewandowski. Now, Barcelona appealed that decision to the Royal Spanish Football Federation. However, yesterday, the Royal Spanish Football Federation rejected the appeal and upheld Robert Lewandowski's 3-match ban. Well, Barcelona today announced that they will be appealing that decision to the Administrative Sports Court because they believe it's an excessive and unnecessary fine, given that Robert Lewandowski only touched his nose, and he explained that that gesture was not aimed at the referee, that it was instead aimed at Xavi, because Xavi had spoken to Robert Lewandowski prior to the match and told him to be careful about getting yellow cards. Now, the referee interpreted this gesture to mean that Robert Lewandowski was saying that the referee was being arrogant, and as such, the 3-match ban was handed down to the Polish striker. Now, I believe that the Spanish Football Federation is setting a very dangerous precedent where every time a player makes a gesture of disapproval of the referee's decision, that they will be banned for several matches. And it's also dangerous precedent because we've seen other instances where players and coaches have clearly stated that their disapproval of the referee during press conferences. More recently, Real Madrid's coach Carlos Ancelotti, who said that the referee had invented a penalty and yet there were no repercussions for him or any other players who've stated their disapproval. So with this decision, the Spanish Football Federation is telling players, don't make any gestures of disapproval regarding the referee. Instead, go ahead, get on the mic and state your disapproval loud and clearly, because there will be no repercussions for those actions. Now, as it stands, Robert Lewandowski is due to miss 3 matches, beginning with the Catalan derby against Espanyol, followed by the matches against Atletico de Madrid and Getafe. However, Barcelona are now collecting evidence to present to the Administrative Sports Court in hopes that they can reverse that 3-match ban. Now on to the news that Barcelona are due to miss out on several signings that they were hoping to make. Now, the first signing, and that's something we've been talking about these past few days, will be the Brazilian Endrick. Now, Endrick is a 16-year-old forward who currently plays at Palmeiras, and he has become the most coveted player in the world, as he's considered one of the most promising young talents in football. It's now being reported that Real Madrid are very close to signing Endrick for 60 million euros, which is his release clause that was set by the Brazilian club Palmeiras. Now, Endrick will not be able to make a move to Europe until he turns 18 in 2024, but it's reported that the player will be meeting with Real Madrid this month and that he's very excited about joining Los Blancos. So it looks like Barcelona will be missing out on a signing of Endrick, not only because the player wants to join Real Madrid, but also because of Barcelona's financial condition that will not allow them to pay the 60 million euros that the Brazilian club are currently asking for. Now, the second signing that Barcelona will be missing out on is Ilkay Gundogan. Now, as I reported these past few days, Xavi wants Ilkay Gundogan to replace Sergio Busquets once he leaves the club at the end of the season. And even though the sporting committee are more keen to signing Ruben Neves from Wolverhampton, Xavi wanted Ilkay Gundogan because he preferred the profile of that player over Ruben Neves. Well, it's now being reported that after Germany was eliminated from the World Cup, that Ilkay Gundogan approached Manchester City and asked to renew his contract, which expires in the summer of 2023. And given that Pep Guardiola is a big fan of Gundogan, it's most likely that the Turkish-German midfielder will remain at the Premier League club. Now, we're going to have to see what's going to happen in regards to the replacement of Sergio Busquets, whether the sporting committee will get their way and sign Ruben Neves from Wolverhampton, or whether Xavi will choose a different player to replace Busquets in that pivot position. Now, speaking of Germany, very briefly, it's reported that Manuel Neuer wants to remain as the goalkeeper of the German side. However, after their early elimination in the group stages, there's now a lot of talk about having Mark ter Stegen step in and replace Manuel Neuer as the goalkeeper. Now, another player that Barcelona will miss out on the signing is the Argentinian Enzo Fernandez. Now, Barcelona had the chance to sign Enzo Fernandez for 7 million euros. However, they decided to pass on him. And as a result, he's joined Benfica, where he's been having a great season ever since his arrival this summer. And now during the World Cup, Enzo Fernandez has been having a phenomenal performance with Argentina. And as a result, he's become one of the most coveted midfielders in Europe, with all the major European clubs wanting to sign the Argentinian, including Barcelona. Now, Benfica know that they can't hold on to Enzo Fernandez forever, so they will allow him to leave. However, they will be looking to make a lot of money. And it's reported that Benfica are now asking for around 85 to 90 million euros for the Argentinian midfielder, which is of course very prohibitive price for Barcelona, and it's most likely that Barcelona will not be able to sign this Argentinian star, which is an absolute shame because we had that chance to sign him for 7 million euros and he would have been the perfect replacement for Sergio Busquets. Now, another player that Barcelona will not be able to sign on is Mohamed Kudus, who, as reported in a previous video, had caught the attention of Barcelona and many major European clubs, given that his versatility as being able to play both as a midfielder and as an attacker, and given the 2 goals that he scored during the World Cup. Now, Mohamed Kudus is a 22-year-old player who's currently at Ajax, and now it's being reported that all the major European clubs are trying to sign the player, including Barcelona. However, Mohamed Kudus has stated that he prefers to go to the Premier League, and it seems that Ajax want to ask for around 40 million euros for the player, which is very expensive for Barcelona. And also, Jordi Cruyff has said that Kudus is not a priority for the club. So given that he's not a priority and the Barcelona don't have the money to pay for 40 million euros, then it's most likely that the club will not be signing the Ghanaian star. Now, on to the news that Barcelona are interested in signing Gabriel Martinelli. Now, Martinelli is a Brazilian forward who currently plays at Ajax, and his contract will expire with the Dutch side in June of 2024. And Barcelona have reportedly began to circle both Ajax and the player's entourage to try to see whether the 21-year-old forward will be renewing his contract with the Dutch side or not. And if not, Barcelona are very interested in signing him in order to reinforce their attack. Now, on to the news that Barcelona are looking to cash in on several players. Now, the first player that Barcelona are looking to cash in on is Serginho Dest, who's currently on loan with AC Milan. Now, Barcelona are confident that AC Milan are going to want to trigger the option to buy the player pretty soon. And since Dest did have a good performance with the United States of America in the World Cup, Barcelona are hoping that they could, that has increased the value of the player and they could cash in on him, which would help the club financially and not only clearing space on their wage limit, but also in increasing their profits, which would then help them sign new players. Now, the second player that Barcelona are hoping to cash in on is, of course, Memphis Depay, who, as I reported many times before, Barcelona are looking to offload during the winter transfer market. Given that Depay has been having pretty good performances with Netherlands in the World Cup, Barcelona are hoping that his value has gone up and then they can make some money off the sale of the Dutch forward. Now, the last player that Barcelona are hoping to cash in on is Hector Bellerin. Now, as I reported many times before, Barcelona are looking to offload Hector Bellerin, given that neither Xabi nor the club are impressed with his performance. And given that Bellerin's contract will expire in the summer of 2023, Barcelona are hoping to sell him this winter transfer market in order to cash in on his value. Now, one of the clubs that are currently interested in signing Hector Bellerin is Real Betis, who tried to sign the player in the summer. However, they were unable to do so because of their financial situation. It's now reported that Real Betis are still not capable of purchasing the player, and therefore Barcelona are currently in contact with AS Roma, who, as I reported before, Jose Mourinho is interested in signing Bellerin, given that he no longer counts on his actual right back. Now, Barcelona are hoping to seal the transfer of Hector Bellerin this winter transfer market so they can cash in on his value, because if they allow him to stay until the end of the season, he will be leaving as a free agent next summer. So that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a like. Also, I'd like to invite all of you to please leave a comment down below, giving me all your thoughts and opinions about all the news that I share with you. And finally, I would like to invite all of you to please subscribe to the channel so you can stay current on all the latest news in regards to our beloved club, FC Barcelona. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video. And as always, Visca Barça.